What's going on, everyone? So, got to talk about Bronny James, and I want to talk a little bit about Dalton Connect because Dalton Connect has been very disappointing. I've talked a lot about Dalton Connect over on AS The Lakers Show, so I don't want to get too much into it because I made several videos about Dalton Connect, but it's clear who's growing, progressing, and improving, right? One player in Dalton Connect looks worse than he did in year one. One guy in Bronny James looks clearly better than year one. I mean, go watch Bronny James in the first summer. He looked timid. He looked scared at times. He looked overwhelmed. Now he is cooking. Still needs to work on the offense. The offense still, obviously I understand he put up 17 and had a great offensive game. But if you look at the other games, he's been inconsistent, even shooting the basketball. It's kind of been, streaky. Right? When he's on, he's cooking, right? That first summer league game that he played, boom, back-to-back threes, starts off with 8 points, starts cooking. And then it just started to kind of taper off, having his struggles. And then this last game, boom, again, starts hitting shots and he couldn't miss. So probably going to be streaky, but that's better than it was the previous year. But more than anything, it's his defense, right? Bronny James himself said he knew going into the season if he wanted to play minutes and he wanted to be in the rotation during the regular season, we'll see about playoffs, but if he wanted to be a piece that actually gets playing time, it was going to be on the defensive end, that he needed to be a menace, a bully out there on the defensive side of things, make sure he's holding his own. And you've seen that. The guy has been fantastic defensively, doing the dirty work and doing the hustle plays. Talked about this a million times, right? We don't need Bronny James to be a superstar. We're probably better off with him not being a superstar because that means it'll be easier to retain him. You don't have to make tough decisions, right? You got Luka, you got all these things. Bronny James, if he can just be, again, a Lou Dort for us, right? Or an Alex Caruso type, right? Those guys aren't superstars. Those guys aren't guys like perennial all-stars, but those guys are, all defensive guys. Those guys are, every team in the league would love to have those guys, right? That's what I'm looking at, Bronny. Can he just be that? Can he be that defensive menace, that 3-and-D guard? Can he be a more athletic, upgraded version of Gabe Vincent? It's perfect, right? Not everyone has to be a superstar. Not everyone has to be, a top 10 player in the league. Not everyone will be. You still need that 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th guy, especially come playoff time. If Bronny James can just emerge into that, if he can just be that guy, he's improved on his ball handling. He's out there cooking, just in his bag, embarrassing his dad, right? It's beautiful. But no, in all seriousness, right? And I've even talked about, I don't think Bronny and LeBron should be glued. Right? If LeBron does leave, which I don't think he will, but if LeBron does leave, Lakers should keep Bronny. And Bronny has said he wants to be his own guy, wants to do his own thing. I don't think that they should be a package deal sent out because Bronny James is the exact type of player the Lakers need. Exact type of player, right? Relentless point of attack defense. If he can be a Dennis Schroeder, right? Again, that's exactly what this team needs. This team just needs that pesky defensive guy that's just getting into the jerseys of every opposing player and just a menace out there. And Bronny is looking every bit the part. You're seeing the progress. You're seeing the growth. If you watched him in the G League, dude, the guy was better than everybody in the G League. The guy was killing it in the G League, right? And it was okay, he's going to be an NBA player, right? But it's okay, what do you want to see in year 2? Max Christie, right? Look at year 1, Max Christie, and then year 2 in Summer League of Max Christie. And you just saw, Max Christie was more confident, more comfortable, right? Was ready to just, you could tell. He knew what he wanted to do, was doing it, and just nobody could get in his way. And you're seeing the same thing with Bronny. You're seeing that progress. Bronny could just be our next Max Christie. It's perfect. What are we all screaming right now? God, we shouldn't have traded Max Christie. He would have been great on this team as a 3-and-D wing or 3-and-D guard, right? Bronny could be that. Yes, Bronny's not 6'5", 6'6", but it also helps when you have a 6'7" point guard, right? So you can kind of have that better balance. And again, even if Bronny doesn't become a starter, even if he's just the backup, right? The primary backup, one of the first 2 guys off the bench, that's fine. Again, you need those guys. Alex Caruso coming off the bench for the Thunder, and he was one of the most impactful players on their championship run last year. Right? Because he knows his role, he plays his role, he does it great. If Bronny can just buy into that, that would be fantastic. But on the other end, you look at a guy in a Dalton Connect, and it's been incredibly disappointing. And I'm not even worried about the lack of offense, right? He's struggling shooting and scoring the basketball, but we know he can do that. We know he can score the basketball. Like, I'm not worried. He could average 2 points a game in summer league. The last thing I'm worried about is the offense, right? Because one, he's gonna have more structure in the actual season, right? And Summer League doesn't have a Luka, LeBron, and Austin Reeves creating for you. Everything's kind of sporadic. Everything's kind of random. There's all these like different variables in Summer League that you just don't get in the regular season. Because a bunch of guys that are just out there playing, it's closer to street ball than it is, actual NBA basketball. So Dalton Connect offensively, I'm not worried about Dalton Connect offensively. But it's everything else. You haven't seen any real growth or improvement from him. On the defensive side of things, on his ball handling, on his shot creation, nothing. Literally, you haven't seen it. He's struggling to take guys off the dribble. He's struggling to, just even handle the basketball. He's dribbling the basketball like off his foot and turning the ball over like crazy. Like and yes, I understand come the regular season, he's not going to have those responses. They're not going to be looking for him to do those things. But that was one of the things that made him so good. It was like, now he's not just a three-point shooter. He's a guy that can take guys off the dribble, that can stop on a dime and shoot over the top, that can apply rim pressure and do all these things and be a three-level scorer, right? And then the defensive side of things. I mean, it's embarrassing. Like, dude, take some pride. You have G League teams switch hunting you because they know you're that bad of a defensive player. And you're 25 years old in year 2 of the NBA, and the whole reason you fell out of the rotation was because you can't defend. And you're getting cooked in Summer League, possession after possession after possession. He can't stay in front of guys. And when he does, he's fouling. So it's like, dude, Lakers might not have a choice. They might have to trade Dalton Connect. I don't know if it's his confidence. I don't know if it's just, he is who he is. I mean, look, when we drafted him, I talked about he's probably closer to his ceiling than his floor. Right? That's why teams don't like to draft 24-year-olds, 23, 24-year-olds, because they are usually closer to their ceiling than their floor. Right? So maybe it's just that. Maybe he's just going to be a really good off-ball movement shooter, right, for a team. And he's not going to be the guy that many of us believe he can be. Right? It's very possible. Again, that doesn't mean that. I mean, look at guys like, why am I blanking on his name? Anyway, these shooters, right? Like you look at these guys that just, they've built a career, even like a JJ Redick type, right? Like just a guy that's just a movement shooter. Wasn't a great defender. Yeah, he was better than Connect was, but he's not like, he wasn't this like lockdown defender or anything like that, right? Like it's just, can you get a guy like that in Dalton Connect? Right? I have this player in my head and I can see his face. I just can't spit out his name. But anyway, it's just, like guys like that, right? Can he just be that? But the Lakers don't really need that. They need defense. They don't need more offense. And that's the problem is you have Dalton Connect who is just, he's too like sporadic at times. He's too streaky. So unless he's shooting, 7 of 8 from 3-point range and giving you 30 points, he becomes a liability. Yes, if he goes and gives you, 20, but he gives up 30, then he's a net negative. He's hurting you more than he's helping you. Right? Like, it's just, that's the problem is that, you've seen the growth in Bronny, right? You haven't seen that in Dalton Connect. And that is just very disappointing because I expected Bronny to have some growth. I mean, I did a whole video on it, right? But I also did a video on Dalton Connect. And and the big thing was I said, even in that, I don't care about the offense. He could score 50 in Summer League, or he could score 5. I don't care. I want to see all the other things, because those are the things that are going to keep him on the basketball court. You've seen all the other things from Bronny. Bronny looks like the exact player the Lakers need right now. Point of attack, scrappy, he can be a little streaky shooting the basketball, but that's fine. You have 15 other guys that are going to score the basketball, and you're not looking for Bronny to play 40 minutes a night. You're looking for him to come in and be an assignment guy, essentially, at least for right now. And if he's made these strides and these growths from year 1 to year 2, and he's still 21 years old, like what does he look like at Dalton Connect's age? Right? He might end up being like a real starter. And just, again, I'm not saying superstar star, anything. I'm talking about just like a guy that like, hey, he's our starting two. Right? Like this guy is just relentless, both sides of the basketball. Right? Which is why I don't think Bronny should be that. And it's just, again, it's more disappointing than anything. And I just think the Lakers are going to have to, again, come to a decision with Dalton Connect. And right now, his price is just so much, what you can get for Dalton Connect and the way that teams are valuing Dalton Connect is probably at its highest. Because if he continues to play like he has in Summer League in the NBA, that's just going to keep dropping his price. Well, right now, there's always a team that's like, we can do better. Lakers aren't really known to develop guys, right? Lakers aren't, Dalton Connect. We know what he is. We know what he wants. Like, we need that. Or you get a team that just needs shooting, or a team that just believe he's young enough to where they can get it right and the Lakers aren't, right? Like, oh, he'd play a different role with us and so on and so forth, right? Kind of unlock him. There's always going to be a team that's willing to take on that chance, right? So, but to me, it's like, do you sell him while he's high right now and then, kind of get a piece that you need? And then, now you have Bronny James potentially in the rotation, right? Bring in like a Joshua Okogie or something like that. There's the potential, right? And also, Bronny does become what we kind of are looking at him to be. It's very possible that he makes Gabe Vincent expendable, right? Because now it's like, okay, well, now you can get off of Gabe Vincent because Bronny James could give you all that. So just a thought. But let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me a lot. So we enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. And that subscribe channel, hit that subscribe button, turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one.